my sister, it's completely different. And when our mum died, she said she saw her rise out of her body.
And as we said goodbye, we said, well, this might be the last time we see each other. And we just all agreed that we'd had a lovely time.
Yeah.
It's a dead center. Ooh, yeah.
Welcome to the podcast, ladies. Fran, Glover and Carrie Weeks.
Thank you.
Hello. From A Natural Undertaking. So tell us about yourselves. Tell our listeners about who you are and how you came to be here.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
came to be two of my lovely glamorous women in this gorgeous setting. Very unlikely duo, just like you.
Oh, absolutely. And you wouldn't think they were funeral directors just by looking at them.
No, not at all. Yeah, so
well.
in your own words.
Good. Okay, I'm going to start. So I'm Carrie, and I had in the back of my head, my mum died when I was quite young. I felt, just in a nutshell, that her funeral was something, it was a product that we bought. Nobody asked us if we wanted to be involved. She was quite a young woman and it didn't really reflect my mum at all. And as a functional kind of part of life, I don't think it did what it was supposed to do. What a funeral, we've been having funerals since the beginning of human beings. They're a useful rite of passage. You know, they're a gathering to do something really fundamental to help us through grief. And it didn't do any of that. These, strange men turned up in top hats and kind of, it
So
was
pomp and
ceremony,
doing
isn't it?
my mum was punk,
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. So it nagged at me for kind of, I'm going to say, 25 years. So I started doing some research really once it got overwhelmingly nagging at me as to why do we do funerals today in Birmingham the way that we do them? Why do we just have this, what felt to me to be a really alien kind of looking thing, a processional, traditional thing, when actually the population of Birmingham and the people that I know and their parents don't have anything to do with
It's not even remotely like how people live.
absolutely not the way that people live. There's still a lot of satin in the funeral industry. The coffins are lined with satin. They make people wear satin in pale blue and pale pink. And I've literally never seen satin on sale anywhere else apart from funeral manufacturers. So
Even at the rag market.
There's a reason for that.
yes,
Not
because
nice.
nobody's got that crap in their house
Yes.
anymore. That's all.
Yeah.
But it's
It
still
went
part.
with the top hats.
But it's
Yeah.
still part of the funeral aesthetic in the mainstream.
Yeah. And they still line the coffins with it. And
They still line
Yeah.
the coffins with
Yeah.
it. They still dress people in a gown made of it.
Frau.
Yeah, just horrible. So I kind of just went about doing some research about why we have funerals, what the laws are, and then connected with some organisations like the Natural Death Centre was a massive inspiration and good funeral guide. And while I was doing this research, I met Fran socially. We knew each other a bit socially and started talking to her about my ideas. And Fran was running her own business at the time and said, do you want some help with your business plan? Let's do something. And kind of, we sat down and after that first meeting, Fran said, I think you've got an idea here. I think there's a product or service that would fill a gap in Birmingham. And that was fundamentally what we were trying to do at the beginning, was go, we want to create a service that reflects the lives people actually live.
But it also felt amazing. It wasn't just about filling a gap. It was about actually there's something that is incredible here that we could do for people, which is going to make a difference.
Something beautiful. Enormous
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
And starting with kind of just making people feel empowered, give them I'm a librarian. Before I did this, I was a librarian and I worked in the voluntary sector. So kind of like, I just wanted people to be involved. I wanted them to know what was possible and I wanted it to all look really beautiful. And I think we've managed to do that.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, we're winging a prayer at the beginning, but
Talk to us a little bit about that at the beginning as well. Yeah, so we now know how you guys
So what was your business, Fran, before that?
Well, I mean, first, my background is kind of brand marketing, digital marketing. I helped Cadbury really in very early days.
We need you.
Yeah. Could you help us? Put her in
please?
the boot.
Yeah.
So I headed up the digital marketing team at Cadbury back in the early days before the sort of mass broadband penetration, before anybody realised that actually what they were missing from dial-up was about what to be around the corner, helped kind of advise the brand teams. I remember having a meeting about cookies and bringing cookies, but saying, no, you need to know about a different type of cookie now. just lots of things really. That was an amazing time. Did some really incredible things there, and then left with a colleague, and we set up our own agency and worked with some really big kind of international brands. Did that for 6 years, but just felt like I didn't really enjoy being agency side. My heart is much more in client side, I think, where you actually can make the decisions and run with them and do it and implement them and see the outcome, if you like.
Yeah.
And so I guess I was feeling a little bit at the time, this isn't really doing it for me. But I thought, right, Carrie's got something interesting here. Let's, get her started, create some milestones for her. But just that day we spent talking, just thought, no, actually, this is amazing. There's something here that will actually make me a part of my community as well. Because for years and years, I've lived in Birmingham, always travelled out, worked in London, worked abroad, lots of different spaces. I didn't really feel like I was that part of.
You're in it, but you're not part of it.
Yeah. And now here we are. I mean, we really are.
I mean, what an incredible bringing together of two people. Like, so you're not even related in this industry.
We're really different.
Like that is amazing. I mean, if somebody had said to you all those years ago, this is what you'll be doing now. I mean, what would your reaction have been?
Can you imagine my family's reaction when I said, I've been doing all of this. I've sold donuts, ice cream, beer.
Yeah. Now
I'm going to be a funeral director.
Yeah. And what was their reaction?
Well, I'm not sure they really said much, but I could tell they were quite shocked.
Mm-hmm. It's not a norm, is it?
Well, I think they're quite used to me doing different things as well. Mm-hmm. And this whole natural side of things as well really appealed to me because I think that's something that is really important to me, the environment and just not overdoing things, keeping things simple, keeping things clear, understandable, making sure that we're all in charge of our own lives and helping other people to do that was just something that felt really powerful when we were talking.
And you both sort of aligned on that because people don't know their options. They don't know what they can and can't do.
They don't know the legal aspects
So
of the times.
primarily it was about kind of like, is there a way? So from the beginning, it was about how do we give people that it's a long game we're playing because it's about change within broader society.
Yeah. Like our game.
Yeah. But essentially, if people are better educated about what choices they have and they know what's possible, then they're more likely to come to us because they're not going to get that from some of the bigger traditional. I'm not going to use the word traditional to describe them because I don't think it is. I think it's an industrialized process. I think it's a bit of a production line. Yeah. And I don't think that's traditional. I think what we do is traditional. It's very family based, family focused. We're focused on the body of the person who's died. We take people home. We help them to stay at home if they need to. I feel like what we do is really traditional. We're like the old ladies in the village who would look after the dead.
Yeah. And it's so beautifully titled based on that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Natural Undertaking.
Yeah. I thought it was our friend that she said.
She's denying it.
Yeah. Tell me, Carrie, we asked Fran about what the reaction was when you went into this industry, but we didn't get that from you. So when you started to tell friends and family this is what you wanted to do, what was the reaction?
I don't think anybody was surprised, really. Not at all. I think also I'd been in a period where my daughter was quite poorly when she was young and she got better. So I hadn't worked for a couple of years. And so I kind of had nothing in front of me. But I've been going on about this stuff since my mum died. And that was a really long time ago. So, yeah, I'm the kind of person who would wander around graveyards.
Not in a strange way. Not in a strange way.
Wish we had this on film because that would have made a beautiful snippet.
I own taxidermy. I'm not, I'm
all Carries are a bit weird, I think.
All Carries are a bit weird.
Yeah, but unique.
Let's go with that.
So how is business? Because obviously you've opened up a new premises, and do you get lots of people referred to you from people who've used you before? Is that how? Is it word of mouth? Is it?
It's totally word of mouth, and that's what we always said it was going to be. That's going to be the strongest kind of motivator for people for us. So it's our 11th year this year.
Amazing.
Congratulations. It's just flown by, isn't it? It's just, I don't know where it's gone.
Was there ever a point, ladies, that you just went, right, we're going to go all in? You know where I'm going with this?
Yes, yeah.
We're going to go all in. And then did you ever get to a point and go, oh, I'm not really sure if it's going to
If
work,
it's
or did
work,
you just
yeah.
have
No.
faith? Did you think this idea is just solid and we're going to go for it?
We started with, well, actually, our first funeral, we had nothing. We'd had a plan. We knew what we were going to do. And actually, it was the man who helped us with our
Business
startup
plan.
loan and our business plan. And his mother happened to die, at a weekend where we were at an event. We were helping
We
host.
were at the Good Funeral Awards. They were in Birmingham in
Yeah.
2014.
Yeah.
We were helping out because they were in Birmingham. It was a big kind of public event, and then the Good Funeral Awards had been running for a couple of years, and that was about recognising kind of work that funeral directors and those in the death industry do. We'd made friends with Charles Cowling, who wrote the Good Funeral Guide. He was a really early mentor. He's a genius.
And he's recommended you in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was out leafleting with him in Bourneville because it was in Birmingham. We went on the radio, didn't we talk about it? We hadn't started at this point. We had nothing.
I gave a
We had an
marketing
idea.
presentation.
Yeah. And we got loads of volunteers to help out on the day, and we were just being really useful and helpful. And at about 5 o'clock, I was just finishing off a session, and I got a call from this man whose mum had just died. And I said, "You know that we've never done a funeral. You know that because we haven't even quite started yet." He said, "I know, but I think the moment that you started talking about your idea, I knew I wanted you to do my mum's funeral." So went back into the bar. We had all of the best people in the kind of non-traditional funeral industry
Around
in
the
that
country.
room, and they made it happen.
Oh, that's amazing.
They made
Do you
it
feel like that was like a kind of little bit of magic and fate that came
happen.
along
I
there?
believe in that stuff. But
Don't, yeah.
Well,
That's
yeah.
interesting.
Well,
We've got
that's
to, it's one of our
it's
questions.
part of the film.
But you do. Fran's going,
I'm often saying to her, well, the universe often brings them together and makes it forward. So
Also,
So
I
you
definitely-
do
I believe.
believe in that, but you don't.
none of it.
no, because it brings loads of other crap as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's just life, isn't it?
But that was our kind of first funeral. And then after that, we had, I think we managed to kind of lease a car, didn't we?
Yeah.
Which we got rounded up, and we had a stretcher, and I built the website.
Your dad built a
So,
deck to put the coffins on out for scaffolding.
a recycled scaffolding.
And then we
It's
had
amazing.
mortuary space made available to us by a firm called Higtons, who are a family firm in the Black Country,
Yeah.
who have just got a tradition of supporting other funeral directors, which is beautiful because they didn't see it. They said, well, we can't do every funeral. We're not really on their patch. And Ross Higton, who's the president of SAFE this year, our business wouldn't be in the same shape it is without
Without
the
their
support of their beautiful
They definitely helped.
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And just helped us to learn, kind of on the job, as it were.
That's lovely.
It's
That's
brilliant.
really nice.
And that enabled us to go into their mortuary. We'd watch Wayne. We have a phrase called
What would Wayne do? Sometimes that was putting blusher on the kernel, and we don't do that.
Sometimes it's, we're not. And so we would see kind of how things were working. We'd see what equipment they were using, so we'd be able to test, and think, well, actually, is that something we would want? And so it was about 3.5 years.
Yeah, it enabled us to save up to
Yeah.
buy somewhere.
And test the marketplace. Test, is this a service that people want? And it became very clear quite quickly
That it was.
It was.
So you could take from it what you wanted and then sort of leave behind the things you thought they're not our style. So
it grew. So we grew it gradually because we wanted it to grow organically. We knew that meant it was going to be a slower route, but that meant that we would have 100% control over it, and that meant that we wouldn't have to compromise on our ethics, our values, our purpose, which was really important.
Yeah, so no outside investment. We bought our first premises so that we'd got complete control over. Because if you're building a mortuary, that's quite an investment.
It's really expensive.
And also, so another
very
thing,
niche.
so the shop that we bought was famous in Kings Heath for 30 years because it was on the number 11 bus route, and
yeah.
curl up and die.
Yes, it was the hairdressers,
It was
wasn't it?
that. I remember it being
No,
that.
it's
Yeah.
station.
Yeah.
So we kept one of the sinks, the hairdressing sinks, which is our sink. in the mortuary.
Nice background.
Yeah.
We have looked after, little old ladies who used to come and have their hair done there, and they've had their hair done in washed.
That's amazing.
It's sort of amazing sense of irony.
It's really lovely.
Yeah.
No, and
How nice.
families feel like really heartened by that. They think, oh, that's really nice, and it is really nice.
Yeah. Must be wonderful. So you don't believe in spirits and things like that? I mean, we do ask everybody, don't we, that we
we
speak
do
to.
have some generic questions that we like to go down this route. But
So
I don't believe in spirits.
you ever had no?
I do believe in tap dancing ghosts over there.
Yeah, but you believe in the universe and fate. I think that's what brought you
There's
together.
certain things that kind of seem to align whenever we need it to,
Yeah.
which you just think.
Are there other things
It's
at
a
work?
serendipitous moment.
I'm kind of of the view, well, I don't know, so I can't disprove it.
Absolutely.
Prove it. I'm kind of open, I guess.
And I
Carrie's
say
like,
I
well,
do
no.
absolutely none of
Absolutely
it.
not.
We're all
Yeah,
made of stars, aren't we?
we're all made of
Molecules,
stars.
the energy
Yeah.
somewhere we float around. And
And what do you think happens when we die, though?
I think we're genuinely just kind
Do you
of
think?
meat. I don't think there's any soul.
You don't believe in
Definitely.
the soul at all?
No, I don't
No.
think I do.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah,
Everybody has a different answer for this, and
Yeah.
it's always fascinating. To us.
yeah. No, I don't think we do. I think when our brain dies, that's when our thoughts die.
So for you, the
And I
soul
find
is
that really comforting.
intrinsically
Yeah.
together with
Yeah.
the brain. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think there are any sort of bigger external influences other than, the weather, the universe, energy, whatever all
Yeah.
of that sciencey stuff is out of there.
So we go back to the earth and
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So I do like, the kind of whole human composting model.
Yeah.
Because that feels really, I like the grittiness and genuinely the earthiness of that, because we've always just put bodies in the ground and become part of the
Yeah.
earth again. And so when you talk about traditional funerals, I think that what we're encouraging people to do is the most traditional thing,
Yeah.
which is to look after your dead and bury them, or, in a place that they can return to the earth.
Yeah.
That feels really traditional to me. Not top
Absolutely.
hats.
Yeah.
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 not a top
yeah.
hat answer. What about you, Fran? What do you have any feelings on?
What
Do
happens?
you believe in a soul, for example? Do you think they're separate entities?
I think there is something slightly different, because I can't quite believe all these thoughts and this kind of different thing that kind of goes on in our head kind of disappeared. But I can't. I in a way, I think of it in the same way as you. You probably just describe it differently. I think of it more as an energy. So I think it's more about transformation of energy and chemical reactions and that kind of thing. So when somebody dies, it's been really interesting, because I've had a number of people tell me interesting tales about when somebody dies, and like they feel like this kind of like a bolt of energy has come out of them. Or I'm not going to tell you what one lady said.
Carrie's looking skeptical.
There's some interesting
Yeah,
science
like
behind like the sort of what actually happens just in moments before death, though, isn't there? That it can appear to be something phenomenal. Actually, it is.
believable.
It
that,
is.
yes, that's
But, my sister is completely different, and she would say she's a medium. She would say that she converses with dead. And when our mum died, she said she saw her rise out of her body.
Wow. Okay. How did you feel about that?
Oh, I knew that she would say something like that.
Yeah, you were like, how you?
Oh,
I
you were saying this
But
again.
again, I can't disprove it.
Yeah.
So
You don't invite her here often.
she has helped out.
she has
Yeah.
that because she used to be in there.
Yeah.
So,
So
so she would.
caring person,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's really interesting to talk to, and certain things that have happened over the years that she's told me about that I think, well, I don't know how you'd have known that. I don't know how, and this isn't like a medium you see on the street or somebody who you think, oh, I must have said something that's given them a clue, because I know her better than that. There are certain things that you just think, oh, that's, that is a bit strange that you kind of knew that when you said that.
So you don't disbelieve. You're sitting on the fence there a little bit.
No, yeah, but I don't think that we sit around as ghosts.
No, I mean, you certainly, yeah.
Waste of time as well. Just moving inanimate objects.
Yeah, I mean, what my sister might have seen was your brain sees things differently, doesn't it? So what she might have just seen is energy in a more physical format.
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say that's not what she saw?
Absolutely.
We interviewed, interestingly, I don't know if you've heard it, the interview with the Primrose ladies from the hospice. And they had some interesting stories about when people sort of passed away and seeing like, physical energy, seeing things like that. And they had loads of stories about that sort of thing.
They were very matter of fact.
Yeah.
they're nursing in palliative care, so
Yeah.
they're not here to tell us tales for fun. They were just sort of, and this happens, and sometimes this happens, and this is, and they had sort of different ways in which they dealt with it.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
very interesting.
Can I ask a question? It's a bit off topic, not off topic, but I was just thinking about two women,
It is, but it's
two
not.
women
Yeah,
doing the job you do, which is, I'm going to say, predominantly male. Is
Absolutely.
it still? Is it still? Am I wrong?
There are more women.
There are more, but have you
Since we
ever
first 11 years, I think. But
have you ever come up against anything that has, sort of been derogatory because you're two women doing this job, or has it always been quite embraced by people? Are they?
We anticipated there would be more of that, because from the outside, it does look like, because when you see a funeral going up and down, that is predominantly male. But actually, if you look at the way those companies are structured, so a lot of the bigger companies, it's the women who are in the offices doing the
Job.
everything. And then some bloke turns up on the day and wanders off with a top hat, making it look like he's in charge. No, we need to change that.
it's like going to a barbecue where the wife does all the prep and the husband just turns the freaking burgers over, and then everyone goes, "Oh, thanks, Dad, that was great."
So that's very much, that's really very much a
It's exactly
predominant-
what it's like.
It's a predominant model, though, and the idea that it has to be men who carry coffins and men who drive hearses and men who are funeral directors. It's definitely changing.
Do you see many women carrying coffins?
We do. We've done that from the beginning because we did.
What you do it yourself?
I think as well,
It's keeping you very fit as well. No doubt.
We're getting a bit
although we
old
are
and
taking
knackered now.
years down the road, so yeah, it's not always as easy.
I think even in my job, we do get that. They think that you're not capable of moving that person or doing that job because you're a woman. And I get really narky about it.
But I think it's interesting because within a mortuary environment, on the whole, those tend to be women doing that.
But in our place,
Yeah.
it's all men,
Is
bar me and another lady. And we were the first women to have really worked there in a long time. All the men that worked there have worked there for 30 plus years. So it was a very male.
Yeah.
And
Or
sometimes now
established
you'll go to move something and they're like, hold on. And they try to rush over and you're like, excuse me, you're in my way. It's fine. I can
You're
do
the one
it.
with the boot.
Yeah, absolutely. She knows what I'm talking about. God love him. But yeah, and it's doing postmortems is in that environment is quite male orientated.
Yeah.
But I think in other hospitals there are more women.
I feel like that. Yeah, there seems to be quite
Lots of women, yeah, when we come to the hospitals.
But I think that's probably changing as well.
probably has changed since we started.
I don't know. I think we thought it was going to be more of a deal than it. I'm assuming that there is, sexism across everything.
Oh,
And actually, we didn't encounter a huge amount.
We've actually
yeah.
had lots of
That was really my question. Whether was it ever met in a derogatory
unless
way?
it's just because we look like poor naive ladies that needed a bit of help. I don't know, but actually, generally,
You don't look like
You
that,
really
girls.
don't. When I walked in here wearing your shades and that t-shirt, that's not the
Yeah.
impression you gave off at all.
And Carrie with a lipstick on.
Yeah,
She's
just very, very
I
glamorous.
I think genuinely because we offer something different, because it doesn't necessarily compete in some ways. It is something different. People have been really keen to help us.
Or have dismissed us
Ah.
without us realising, going, well, that's never going to work. Look at the state of them.
Yeah.
I reckon there's quite a bit of that
But
going
you never saw it.
No,
not
It was
really.
never ever.
Not really.
But on reflection, you think that might.
It might have happened behind our backs, but we didn't.
No, then
know
that
about
happens
it.
in every industry, everywhere.
Yeah.
So, well, who do they think they are? What do they think
Yeah.
they're doing?
I mean, we've always taken the attitude of just mind your own business.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
terms of we mind our own business. We
Yeah.
focus on what we're doing. We focus on what we're doing well. We'll help anybody else who wants our help. And genuinely, people have helped us.
Yeah, and we're always really, I think we're just very open and honest about what it is that we're trying to do. We've never tried to pretend that we're something that we're not. None of us are very good at doing that. So our approach has always just been genuinely asking for help if we needed it, asking questions if we needed to, admitting that we don't know something and finding, I used to be a librarian, really good at, identifying who will give me the best information and making friends with the people who will be able to help us,
And then it sells itself.
But then
you know?
we're also we're just so part of such a much bigger network of people now. We're going to the Netherlands in November to meet with some the
Oh
best
my
funeral
gosh.
directors, in Amsterdam.
And you've been to Chelsea Flower Show.
we're
Just getting
kind of,
around the place.
I've been made friends with funeral directors in LA. It's kind of like we're just there's an attitude.
global.
No,
Just on holiday, darling.
yeah, we've gone about 3 miles down the road. But actually, I feel like you can identify the people who are doing this because they want something to change, but they want families to have a really good, empowering experience that they know is going to help them through the ritual or through the activity. And we're helping people to do that. And there are other people around the world who are also doing that. And it's when you meet them,
Nice to
spend
connect.
time with them and work with each other. So that feels like a really supportive environment.
And for us as well, like having started the podcast and meeting people from all industries of the death industry and people who have gone through loss and grief. And we've had literally so many people reach out to us and everybody's so supportive. It's been fantastic, hasn't it? It's literally giving us so many jobs to do.
It's not an experience for themselves usually when they're younger or they've gone into the industry for these types of reasons. And it's this common thread and it binds us all together. I think it's something so
Yeah.
I love what we're doing.
Yeah. And it is so nice to be able to make links with other people. For us, sort of talking about grief and loss and death and what is available to people is so important. And we were talking earlier about Brumyodo. So could you tell us guys a bit about that? Because you sort of it was your brainchild.
Yeah, so we were two of the founding members of Brumyodo, and we had the very first event, which was on King's Heath, All Saints Square, because we said, Dying Matters Week coming up, we do need to do something. And we kind of gathered people from the local hospice, from various hospitals, funeral plan provider that we, worked with at the time.
We had funeral food. So my friend Diana Bell's a food artist and did funeral, traditional funeral food. Carol did funeral flowers.
Decorated a coffin and had it there on the
Yeah, so we've got a friend who's an artist and
everybody.
was doing that. We just plonked ourselves in the middle of King's Heath Village Square.
11 years ago.
Yeah. On a Friday afternoon, and we didn't know if we were going to get pelted with eggs or, And the people, what we realised quite early on in that experience is if people don't want to engage with you, they will just walk past. You're not offending anybody, because it is quite it was quite a big thing to do. Put a coffin in the middle of the square.
But then the people that do stop and talk to you, they
really want to talk to you.
It's exactly what we found.
Yeah.
It's almost a little therapy.
Yeah.
They see it and they go,
oh, it's okay to talk about it.
And
Yeah.
I want to, actually. Anxiety involved, we want to share a story, we want to be heard.
Yes.
So we facilitated death cafes because that sort of feels like a really good thing to do. And that was just helping people to come together. When we were sort of setting up, we said we reckon 50% of what we're going to do is about education.
Yeah.
That's how we felt.
Similar to what we thought.
Just good information.
Yeah.
Good, correct information about what's possible.
And actually, what's really interesting today, the lady I was speaking to, what she said to me, family we arranged their mother's funeral a couple of weeks ago. And she says that originally they were going into another kind of, I'm going to say more traditional family kind of funeral directors. They had their appointment there and they walked in and it all felt very much like a funeral director should do. And the people were very, very polite and very, she said it was lovely. My sister and I walked out of there going, yeah, we're going to go with them. But we've made an appointment with A Natural Undertaking. So let's not be rude. Let's stick to our appointment. And she said, I'll be honest with you, I walked up and sort of looked at the outside because we're bright. We're white. We've got a kind of teal stripe along the bottom, haven't we? A strip of blue. And she said, we kind of started, this feels strange. This isn't what a funeral church kind of looks like. And she said, and the door kind of flung open. And there, it was actually our colleague Susie who welcomed them. And she said, and there was this incredible kind of lady with a blonde bob and dressed in pink. And she invited us in and sat down and we were sort of thinking, oh, this feels very strange, in this incredible kind of bright environment. And she said, but then she started talking to me talking to us about all these additional ideas and things that we could be doing that, nobody else had ever spoken to us about before. And she said it was so strange. She said, me and my sister at the same moment, as it turned out after we spoke later, both decided at that point, no, these people are going to help us.
Yeah.
And it was that enlightenment, wasn't it? That kind of moment of, no, there's more to this. And she said it became a celebration of life rather than anything.
Yeah, that's so important.
And it was a brilliant
isn't it?
day. They got to do so many different, there were so many moving parts and everybody was involved. And yeah, so it's just about that kind of opening the window and letting people see.
Yeah, and not being so shrouded in mystery and
like literally,
they think I've got to do this, tick, tick.
The moment we got premises, we started having open evenings.
Well, we tried to get onto one of your.
I know, and it was fully booked.
Yeah,
we couldn't get one.
We could do it in the next few weeks.
Yeah, let us know. We'll come.
But I think so. For a long time, the funeral industry was kind of it was considered to be kind of when we first started, and I was trying to pull together all of the stuff for our first business plan in terms of doing the research. I couldn't find anybody within a sort of 5-mile radius of where I live that had publicly available prices.
Yeah.
They weren't in windows. They weren't on the, not one single funeral director. And so there was this I think there's this kind of reputation is that because what we do is cloaked in mystery, therefore it must be worth lots of money.
Yeah.
So that person's being told all the time, this is what you need, this is what you need.
Yeah.
And there's something so sad about that.
But also, I think that what we do is worth paying for, but we need to tell you exactly what it is we're going to do and how we're going to pay for it. And I think you will see the value of that service. We do a job that most people don't want to do. You know that.
Yeah.
Like some of the work that we do it's hard emotionally, it's hard physically. We've seen things that most people don't see, and we're working really tight deadlines. It's a really hard, and we're running a business at the same time. Only idiots would choose this as a
Yeah. 3 idiots.
So you've got to really, really want to do it, I think. But also, I think that the funeral business or we've been really, really bad at kind of going, but this is what we do.
Mm.
The reality of what we do. Come and have a look at the spaces. We will tell you what's going to happen at every time. We will invite you to be involved at every time. So it's not just this mysterious thing that feels expensive.
And I think we only ever hear about the funeral industry as negative, this has happened and that's happened.
It's physically dark, it's emotionally dark. All of it is just.
And we never celebrate the good stuff, beautiful stories like yours.
Yeah.
You just don't hear it.
And actually that we think this work is worth doing because the reward is that you get to feel like you've done something really useful at a time when people need
and you've
to
made
see.
a massive change at that.
Well, I don't know if I don't even think it's a massive change. I just think that for that part of that bit in between death and the funeral is a weird time, isn't it?
Liminal time.
Liminal time.
Liminal. We were discussing this word last week. My sister's one.
Yeah. And during that, what is nice, we offer kind of continuity of care.
Yeah.
Good information and a sense that we're sort of walking alongside a family to help them do the thing they need to do.
And the other thing, in terms of not telling people kind of really what you do and highlighting the things that are actually not really important, a lot of people highlight the shiny cars, the coffins, the handles, actually, about the person who's died. Where are you looking after that person? How are you looking after
what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Nobody ever gets to ask those questions because they feel like they can't ask those questions.
Those are the questions she asks me every day.
That's really, I mean, this is the podcast Carrie's idea, and I came on as a guest when this work came to my own experience with multiple deaths, sadly, is that I just had so many unanswered questions that kept me awake at night.
The thing is, I really like answering questions. I'm really good in a quiz. I'm a librarian. And if I don't know the answer, I will go.
I'm going to find it. Yeah.
And fundamentally, that's kind of, people ask.
It's innate in us as humans as well to ask these questions, especially if it's shrouded.
But you've been taken away to ask those questions.
And that is what we're trying to address partially with the podcast as well.
And I'm so grateful that I'm doing this because my mum died 8 years ago. and we gave her the most amazing send off.
My words. And you did your own mother's funeral.
Yeah.
How
So
was
How
that?
beautiful.
it was, obviously it was hard.
Yeah.
There were moments. But she had 2 funerals, one in Lincoln where she lived. So we had kind of a hall and people came, and my daughter sang with her friend. And lots of beautiful things. And then we brought her over here and we had a ceremony at Westall Park. So she's buried at a natural burial ground. And there's about 30 people. There was a lady who had a red camper van, and she served tea and cakes out of China, and she made the cakes that Mum would like. We did all sorts of things. I had my uncle brought his guitar. We sang songs. I had everybody dancing salsa really badly in the pathway because that was what she loved.
Sounds
And then
amazing.
I asked my friend if she would read a summary of Mum's favourite Shakespeare play, The Merchant of Venice. And I said, right, now you know what the play's about. Some of you are going, oh, no. We're going to
And they were like, we didn't sign up for this.
Older than an ass.
I could see their faces. It was hilarious. And I said, we're going to go and sit with Mum now. Her coffin was resting over the struts over the grave,
But the kids were sitting on the edge of the grave
with the legs dangling inside.
because it felt like the most normal and natural thing to do.
And that's what a great education for young people. This is what we talk about.
Yeah.
Like, just not
It was a
exposed to it in any way. And if they were, there were more, we wouldn't end up with a mental health crisis that we have a lot of the time.
Death is normal. It's a natural part of our life. What we do with that isn't always normal and natural. And that's the challenge.
Absolutely.
But so they performed.
So this Harry play go ahead, did it?
Yeah. We went and sat around Mum. The kids had their legs dangling in the grave. And Mum was sort of, lying above it. And I said, come on, because you'd printed off all the parts, haven't you, and highlighted them and given them out.
Were you in the play?
Oh, God, no.
No, she was timing. She was timing the 5 minutes. I said, humanly, just give me 5 minutes. And anyway, they completely ignored her and performed the entire scene. And I just imagined that and stood on the hillside going,
Yeah, watching. Amazing.
and that was good. That felt really good. But I would never have done that had I not been doing this, because I'd helped to arrange my great aunt's funeral 20 years ago. And I knew nothing better than to have her embalmed, to have a funeral in her church. I mean, she wanted that as well. But Black, all of them, didn't even really question it at all.
Thing is that
That's special.
Yeah. But the thing is that what I think we've realised is that when you come in, we've been talking about, the top hats and the corporates and the things. And the thing is that does give people a lot of comfort.
And
it has
the
its place.
rituals.
Yeah.
There are people.
They need that and they want that. And they want that sort of pomp and ceremony. And from the outside, so our cars are white, but if you want us to, we're hiring black cars, we're hiring a motorcycle hearse, we're hiring a horse and carriage. We've done that, all the time. But what is different is the way that we get to that as the end result.
As in the community.
And I think that's really important, is that some people want that and we can still do that. On the outside, some of our funerals may look very similar to another funeral, but we know
how you
way
got
that
to
we
there.
got there by asking the right questions and giving people the information that they needed to make the right decision. They came to that decision. That's brilliant.
And I think that's what's very clear. The difference is how you behave, your your communication skills, the way you deal with it. Yeah, it's not intimidating. I feel like you could come to you and say anything and say, this is what she likes and this is what she wants. And you could deliver that in some way. We could make that happen.
Safe and legal. And we'll always say, if we don't know, we can find out.
If you've already achieved so much, you ladies, but if it was all to end tomorrow, is there anything that you wish you could have done?
In our life or in the business?
Life probably is more important than the business.
I still think like one of the motivations for doing this is to change the environment in which we're operating, in terms of putting out into the world some good quality information, some good quality images, some good stories. And I think that we've got the ability, because we've done so many funerals now that have all been, every single one is completely different. It's how do we share that now and ensure that other people become better consumers, really. So even if they're not
push
coming
this
to us.
podcast episode as much as we can.
Yeah.
Well,
formats like this is
informative.
Yeah.
it's a different medium to deliver that information, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
yeah. And
100%.
cultural change is harder. But also we're a really multicultural city, and the thing is that there's so much, people are seeing so many different ways of doing things that I think it will change. But yeah, I feel like it's still a big major change that has to happen, which is allowing people to do more stuff.
So just take over the world. That's all you've got left to do,
I
Carrie.
don't really want to. I'm quite
Size and achy.
Let's spend some time with our family.
Yeah. Anything for you, Fran? Anything you want to do?
Gosh, if I could stop everybody being so angry, that would be nice.
Oh, that would be nice.
That'd be really good.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Superpower. Like
Yeah.
a really good one to have.
Yeah. I don't know. I've always kind of, I suppose, lived my life with just dealing with the opportunities that have presented themselves to me and being open to different things. I've always known, I've never really known what I wanted to do, but always known what I didn't want to do. And so when I feel like something comes along, so there's nothing kind of really burning in me that I want to do, whether that's a bad thing.
No,
I think it's
right. We've done quite a lot already.
Yeah.
and it's nice that you live that way. That if there was an opportunity, you take it. You know,
I think
you
the
wouldn't.
idea of kind of passing stuff on. So none of our children are interested in doing it. And that is a very traditional model.
Yes, yeah.
You inherit the funeral world. You know, that's the way it's always worked. So I think it's about finding other people who get what we're trying to do. You know, we've had some incredible team members, you know, that have joined our team, and sort of how that moves forward and how you kind of keep those people keeping stuff
Keeping on.
going.
Yeah.
And you know, and creating their own stuff and finding new ways of doing things. I think that's quite an interesting challenge.
That's nice. That's a nice thought. And one last question I've got for you all. If you could find out when you were going to die, would you want to know?
No.
Yeah.
She likes to know when things
Everything. Yeah. Would you like a schedule and a list?
Some people I just know it's yes or no, it's immediate.
No, I don't. I don't think I do. No,
You don't want to know.
I don't think I want to know. No.
That's fair enough. I think some people, they either do or they don't.
Do you?
Oh, God. I don't. Part of me wants to know because I'm really nosy. And part of me thinks you don't get many surprises. So just leave it up to whatever's going to happen. I'm trying now that I'm in my 40s plus to live my life more. Yeah, don't want to say the number, but that I'm trying to live my life more sort of for every moment and try sort of an embrace. So if it was, I don't want to be at the point where something happened to me that I regret anything or I wish I'd have done that. So I don't think it matters so much to me when it's going to
I think
be.
you do
If
get
I
to
live
that
like
point,
that,
yeah.
if I live positively and try and give back something, then
Yeah.
surely it won't matter when I go because what I've done so far should be enough.
Isn't all right?
So yeah,
I
and
remember
that's why I go on holiday all the time.
you know that,
Just in case.
you know that when we first started finding out about COVID, I think it was just before we were about to kind of lock down and nobody knew what that would involve. And I was in the pub with 3 of my very oldest friends that I've known forever, and we meet up every few months and we just catch up locally. And as we said goodbye, we said, well, this might be the last time we see each other. And we just all agreed that we'd had a lovely time.
Yeah. And why can't we do that every time we
We've
meet?
done some good stuff. We're all right, you know.
Yeah.
We've done all right. It's
We're
fine.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it did happen. Like at this point, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Obviously, we see some situations which are horrible
Yeah,
and tragic,
absolutely.
but no,
I think my job does, and your job gives you perspective.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I
You know.
definitely feel that I think more, stop and think more and go, actually, I'm doing all right. You know,
Yeah.
I'm really lucky with my life and things that
it's like therapy, this, isn't it? I don't pay
Yeah.
somebody.
Absolutely. This way, like, just say us. It's fine. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, and
Yes,
I
thank
appreciate you
you.
taking the time. I know you probably had a long day.
It's
And
nice here. We'll come and see you again.
Yeah.
Thank you, dear listeners, for tuning in to It's a Death Sentence. Please keep listening to our weekly episodes.
and if you like our show, please like, share, and subscribe.
We are dying to talk to you.